Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the new invitation. My presentation is about the Baseless Without Borders, learning and the right to one's own language. Understanding your words, other words, I said always, I speak in this presentation about the inclusive education too. Inclusive education is a fundamental right recognized by the Convention of the Right of Persons with Disabilities, which promotes the integration of students with special educational needs into regular school settings. Among the conditions that requires pedagogical adaptation and communication disorders and autism spectrum disorders, specifically male Asperger syndrome. These students face barriers in social interaction, pragmatic language, and cognitive flexibility, which requires different educational strategies. We can analyze the challenges these students present and propose evidence-based inclusive approach. What happened with the communication difficulties in the educational context? We can think that children with communication disorders experience problems with expressive and receptive language, affecting their ability to follow directions, participate in discussions, or understand complex texts. In the classroom, these difficulties can result in frustration and isolation, difficulty expressing needs or making friends, poor academic performance, difficulty understanding instruction or writing response, misinformation of social norms, literal language, and lack of understanding of irony of metaphors. According to the American Speech Language Hearing Association, intervention should include alternative communications systems such as picture frames and structured environments that reduce anxiety. My Asperger and its change in inclusion. Asperger syndrome now included in ASD according to the DSM-5 is characterized by difficulties with social interaction, inability to interpret gestures, or maintain reciprocal conversation. Cognitive rigidity, resistance to change in routines or restricted topics of interest, sensor sensitivity, discomfort with low noise or bright lights. Asperger syndrome is important to know for educators. Now classified within autism spectrum disorders, ASD, level 1, according to the DSM-5 of American Psychiatric Association, AP, has historically been associated with an average or above average intelligence quotient. Unlike other forms of autism that may present with intellectual disability, many individuals with Asperger syndrome excel in logical skills, exceptional memory, and intense focus in specific areas, which is the factor which explains higher IQ in Asperger. You can think first in systematic cognitive style. Baron Cohen proposed that people with Asperger have hypermasculinist brains with greater development of areas related to logical mathematical thinking and less emphasis on social cognition. His systematism theory suggests that they prefer clear patterns and rules which facilitate structured learnings, mathematics, programming, science, and have a detailed memory, especially in subjects of specific interest. Second, hypertrophy and perseverance. According to Monton, individuals with ASD, including Asperger, display intensive selective attention. They can concentrate for hours on a subject, ignoring distraction, superior local processing, detecting details that others miss, useful in fields such as engineering or music. Third, neuroanatomical difference. Brain imaging studies reveals that some children with Asperger have greater gray matter volume in frontal region, atypical neural connection, less social integration, but more efficient in analytical tasks. Fourth, absence of language delay. Unlike other ASD, Asperger's does not typically include speech delay. Many develop in advanced vocabulary from childhood, which raises their scores on verbal IQ tests. Although these children often have a normal or high IQ, their inclusion for when in school do not adapt methodology. A study by Sansosti showed that social skills programs and visual reports improve their academic participation. We can think as teachers, as educators, in our time, strategy for effective inclusive education. First, teacher training in ASD and augmentative communication, curricular adaptation, use of visual schedules, oral assessment, and collaborative groups. Third, multidisciplinary intervention, joint work between speech therapists, psychologists, and teachers, and school awareness, anti-bullying campaigns, and promotion of peer empathy. The inclusion of children with communication difficulties and mild Asperger requires flexible educational policies and resources. This is the end. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.